He hadn't expected much from the meeting, just another business connection, another late night where work followed him home. The email came earlier that morning, crisp and professional. The subject line read, Financial Consultation Proposal, Urgent Opportunities. The kind of message he usually ignored, but something about it, perhaps the name at the bottom, had caught his eye. Seline Thorne. That name sounded expensive, intriguing. And now, here he was. The meeting place was a sleek, private club downtown, hidden away behind a nondescript door with an unassuming brass plaque, the kind of place only insiders knew about. The hostess escorted him to a private lounge, dimly lit, lined with leather chairs. A faint scent of vanilla and old books hanging in the air. She was already there when he arrived, seated in a low-backed chair, legs crossed, her face illuminated softly by a nearby lamp. She looked up, smiling faintly as he approached. She was striking. Dark hair fell in soft waves just past her shoulders, framing her face perfectly. Her skin was almost unreal in its smoothness, and her lips were painted a deep red, just dark enough to catch his attention. Thin-rimmed glasses sat neatly on the bridge of her nose, drawing attention to her sharp, perceptive eyes. Everything about her, her posture, her expression felt deliberate, controlled. She was the type of woman who could hold a room in silence without trying. Mr. Carson. Her voice was smooth, velvety, and calm. She gestured gracefully to the chair across from her. I'm so pleased you could make time to meet with me. He cleared his throat, suddenly aware of how stiff he felt in his own skin. It's not every day I get a proposal that vague. Her lips curved ever so slightly, and it felt like she was amused by his discomfort. Some opportunities are best discussed in person, wouldn't you agree? He lowered himself into the chair, setting his bag to the side. What kind of opportunity are we talking about? Patience? She uncrossed her legs, leaning forward slightly. I know you're busy, but this is not something to rush through. Let's just call it a unique project. Your expertise in financial systems and digital access make you the perfect person for the task. He frowned slightly, his curiosity growing. Digital access. Her eyes gleamed behind her glasses, and she tilted her head just so, as if studying him. You're good at what you do, Mr. Carson. Systems, analysis, unlocking pathways most wouldn't even see. I've done my research. She adjusted her glasses slowly, fingers lingering just a moment too long. You don't need me to explain what a valuable asset you are. There was something unnervingly calm about her voice. He should have felt complimented, but instead, her words lingered in the air, pressing down on him like unseen hands. And what exactly do you need me to unlock? He tried to sound light, professional, but he was aware of the way her gaze never wavered. She reached into her sleek black bag, pulling out a thin metallic flash drive. The object glinted softly in the low light as she placed it on the table between them, perfectly centered. It's all here. She tapped it once with her fingertip. A detailed overview, instructions. You'll know exactly what to do. He stared at the drive, unsettled. I'm gonna need more information before I plug anything into my system. Her smile didn't falter. Of course, trust is important. She leaned back again, crossing her legs. But sometimes trust requires a leap of faith. You'll understand once you've had a look. Her voice dropped slightly, and the edge in her tone made him shiver. You do want to understand, don't you? He swallowed, the strange tension in the room thickening. She watched him quietly, her expression serene, as though she already knew what he would decide. I'll look it over, he said finally, trying to sound dismissive. Good. She rose gracefully, her movements fluid. When she stepped closer to him, her perfume, something soft and floral, faintly intoxicating, wrapped around him like a cloud. She handed him the flash drive, her fingers brushing his just slightly. And one more thing, Mr. Carson. Her voice dipped lower, smooth as silk. Don't fight the process. You'll find it easier that way. He looked up at her sharply. What do you mean? She smiled, a knowing, deliberate smile as she slid her glasses down just enough to peer at him over the rims. You'll see. And then she walked away, heels clicking softly against the floor, leaving him alone in the dim room, the flash drive still warm in his hand. The hours had slipped away. By the time he sat down at his desk, the city outside his window was dark, the only light coming from the glow of his laptop. The flash drive sat beside the keyboard, silent and unassuming. He hesitated. He shouldn't. He knew better. And yet, Celine's voice, low and calm, echoed in his mind. Don't fight the process. He exhaled and plugged the drive in. At first, nothing happened. The screen remained blank for a moment. Then, slowly, a program launched. A single window opening in the center of the screen. It was black at first, but then something began to appear. A spiral, silver and white, turning slowly, smoothly, hypnotically. What the? He blinked, frowning, but the spiral continued to spin, each rotation pulling his focus deeper into the screen. And then her voice began, soft, layered, and impossibly close, right there, though he was alone. That's it. Just watch. There's no need to think, no need to worry. Let the spiral do the work for you. He tried to pull his eyes away, but it felt wrong, like closing a door on something important. The spiral was smooth, endless, and her voice wrapped around him like silk. You're doing so well. It's easier when you don't resist, isn't it? Just relax. Let go. His breathing slowed, his hands slack on the desk. The spiral filled his vision completely now, a soft hum of her voice weaving through his mind. Good. That's right. Now, just listen. Do you want to go deeper? The next chapter awaits you on Patreon. Moonlit Muse PDG.